25 years old. The first half of my life was spent in a world that was oblivious of internet and other things. And the next 22 years was spent coming to terms with the world that changed before my eyes. So, unlike the millennials or the youth of today, people who've grown up immersed in these things, who are not aware of a world which existed before the internet and before this consumerism had completely engulfed us, I think I'm in a better position to talk about it. As the river of my life meanders through the valley of time, I think it is imperative that I look back in order to move ahead. My talk, ladies and gentlemen, is not based on any academic research or any academic rigor, zero. I'm not a social scientist, I'm not a philosopher, I'm a humble policeman. I do not expect this talk to make any impact on you because when my own children don't listen to me, how can I expect anybody else to follow me? At best, these are the laments of a middle-aged man, and at worst, the raves and rants of a man headed towards senility. So, we live in a crazy world as I see it today. And why I call it crazy? There are too many inherent dichotomies and contradictions. Things like the natural hair dye. Can you imagine this? A completely unnatural act of coloring your hair to hide your true age is being propagated through natural means these days. And people are buying it. Youth are free. This is again a complete contradiction. You are carrying GPS in your mobile phones. You are sharing your location on an hourly basis on Instagram and Facebook, hounded by CCTV cameras, and further face recognition software is around the corner. And you think you are free. Every move you make, every breath you take is under scrutiny. And you really think you are free today. In today's world, form and appearance, they are completely beating substance. What you say and how you say is much more important than whether you mean it or not. In my time, it was called disabled. Now it is differently or specially able. Without having increased any empathy for the people who are physically challenged, we have changed these words. Chairman is not chairperson, but the male sexist norms, they keep occupying the workplace. That we are not focusing upon. But we are very concerned about, oh, it should be chairperson, it should not be chairman. Schools today have taken political correctness to a great new level. Whoever was called, a nuisance in my time, students like me, now they say that these people have excess energy. People who were academic duds 20 years ago are referred to as those who have latent creative abilities far beyond academics. Because they are charging you a bomb, so they can't tell you that your child is a dud. Please don't pay for him anymore. So they have to give this pay. Now, reason for this growing superficiality and this growing fake world around us is basically because capitalism has become an unchallenged dogma or creed for the last 30 years at least. It has no challenge now. And this capitalism is sustained by mindless consumption and consumerism. Constant craze for purchase and possession, more is better, I can afford it, so I'll buy it. Stuff you own defines you. And there's an organized attempt to keep you dissatisfied and craving for more all the time. People now actually believe that owning more, buying more is the key to happiness. This consumerism that is all around us completely dictates our life. And it has altered our view of life, success, happiness. It defines our relationships and how we deal with them. I'll give an example. Valentine's Day. It has given us a new festival, this modern consumerism. 20 years ago, if you were not a very rich guy living in a big metro, you wouldn't have heard of it. But today, love songs sponsored by corporations are played all day long on TV and radio. Huge discounts are offered by hotels and pubs for couples to avail. Why are they doing this? Are they so concerned about love being in the air? They don't care whether you come out with your grandmother or girlfriend or boyfriend or father. Just come out. Loosen your purse. Give us some money. Spend some money. Let us make our profit. And it is not a spectacle of love, but a charade of marketing and management. Gulzar has written those immortal lines. सिर्फ एहसास है रूह से महसूस करो. प्यार को प्यार ही रहने दो, कोई नाम ना लो. There are no takers for these things now. Quantification and commodification, monetization of relationships is a new thing. If any relationship can't be expressed in terms of gifts or expense incurred, it doesn't exist. Father's Day, Mother's Day, these are days earmarked to overcome the guilt accumulated in the previous 364 days. It is the collective catharsis of a society burdened by the neglect of its elderly. People write all those lovey-dovey posts on Instagram and Facebook for their mothers and fathers. And a true Facebook post by a typical son-daughter today would be, Dear Pa and Ma, I have no time for you in my schedule. I have no place for you in my home, thanks to my spouse. Stay old, stay alone, chill. I love it. and this society keeps giving us new mantras. 40 is 20. The 40 is 20 would be great if you were as athletic and as agile as you were at 20. But what about being as uncertain, as relevant, as penniless? Ladies and gentlemen, 20 is 20 and 40 is 40. 40 is 2 times 20. I know it. I have been through 20 as well as 40. Unless you are very badly in life, 40 in many ways is better than 20. You have a better understanding of life, you are more reflective. You understand the nuances and shades of life much better than you did at 20. But there's a problem here. The corporates don't want you to become reflective and understand life as you start doing at 40. They want this madness to continue. Otherwise, you will start buying more clothes and accessories. What will happen to them? You are the moneyed segment that they want to target. So they give you this mantra. What they are trying to say is, don't be 40, pretend to be 20, stay stupid, spend more. Now, people's skills in the world that we have it today are becoming more and more important than credibility. There is this new term called emotional intelligence. Now, this is what it means. Try and be pretentious, make a fool out of more people by sounding more empathetic. That is what EI is. Networking has replaced friendship and true bonding. Earlier, when I was a child, when I was a young man, meetings had an agenda. Now all social gatherings have an agenda. Parties were organized to meet friends, to chill with family. Now they are organized to connect with the right kind of people. And come to social media. The youth today, young guys sitting here, you are perhaps the most photographed and documented generation ever in the history of mankind. And unwittingly, you are compromising on your privacy big time. Your most intimate moments, your most personal details are shared on social media. This madness is not restricted to celebrity couples alone, or people who make a livelihood out of being famous. People who are known for the airport look, the gym look. He nails it in red pants, she kills it with XYZ dress. People who put their biceps and abs on display to earn a living. Voyeurism and self-propaganda is not new. They have always existed. But they have never been so mainstream and socially sanctioned as they are today. This malady now afflicts the society at large. If you tell people that this is a madness, they will say, no, we are just trying to express ourselves. Even coronavirus is just trying to express itself. Nothing is left unsaid today. Love for God, spouse, your cat, your dog is expressed in ample measure and not necessarily in that order. No act of piety or charity is left undocumented. If you help somebody, it has to go viral, otherwise you have not helped him. In many ways, we are acting contrary to basic human nature. You see, we have this immense ability to move on in life, overcome heartbreaks, breakups, etc. The ability to selectively erase unpleasant memories, unpalatable truths, is a fundamental requirement for leading a healthy life. But if you have 300 photographs and 5,000 videos of every relationship that you've been in posted on Facebook and Instagram, how can you ever move on in life? Sai Ludhianvi wrote, "Chalo ek baar fir ajnabi ban jaye hum dono." Come, let's move apart and become strangers again. This generation, I don't know if they can ever move apart and become strangers with anyone. Creating a e-trail of everything that you are doing is very scary. And this people realize when you gain sufficient maturity in life. Remember, young guys, some best stories of your life are never shared with anyone. They are best experienced and recalled alone in moments of solitude or shared with old and trusted friends, not on common platform. I'll come to this connectivity thing. Much is made of connectivity these days, We are all connected through Wi-Fi, internet, connected to the entire world. We are so connected that we feel lost when there is no internet. After a few years, people will need GPS to be guided from their bedroom to their washroom. I'm quite sure of that. That is the kind of dependence we have on connectivity these days. When you see people getting offline when the plane is landing or when they're at the airport, you see the scamper for getting back online. It seems as if the earth would stop rotating on its axis. A big tsunami would hit them if they don't get back online. Hyperconnectivity means we are connected to all, but we are disconnected with our own selves. We are afraid of being alone now. That is why people want to get lost in that maze and haze of malls and shopping centers. Being alone is not necessarily the same as being lonely. They are two completely different things. If moments of solitude bring depression rather than reflection and inner peace, then there is something fundamentally wrong with our life. And this constant connectivity that we are engaging in, it demands brief and common response. There is a complete standardization of communication, just like Starbucks. You have coffee anywhere, it tastes the same. So, the same is with communication. The same Happy New Year message is being sent to your dad, girlfriend, milkman, courier delivery boy, everybody gets the same message today. The letters that we wrote, I am from the last generation that wrote letters. Letters were very personal and customized. You were addressing the person that you wanted to talk to. The words conveyed emotions, they were layered, nuanced and living. Even the wait itself for the reply was an experience. You didn't know whether the reply would come or not, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. That added to the situation. But now with WhatsApp, Twitter, email, communication has become minimal, mechanical and monotonous. Now this is affecting our speech and language. When you lose out on words because you have to be minimal, you have to communicate with too many people all the time, then there is a loss of expression, verbal and written. Our vocabulary, ladies and gentlemen, is just like any other muscle in the body. Disuse leads to atrophy. You use less words and expressions, you will lose out on your vocabulary. You will not know how to use them. Now this is happening with us. And what influence does this loss of expression, loss of words have on public debate today? You see, for centuries, our views have shaped our words. This is the first generation in the history of mankind when words or the lack of it is shaping our views. There is limited attention of span and poverty of language. This leads to trivialization and reductionism of every issue. Every issue has to be reduced to its simplified, easily understandable form. Science for dummies kind of thing. Truth and reality have shades of grey. They never exist in black and white. And reconciliation of any issue requires approaching the middle ground. But we don't seem to have any time to explore those shades of grey. We don't seem to have the patience to approach the middle ground. We want simplified, monochromatic and catchy. That is what sells. Nuance and subtlety have no takers today. How does it affect public debate? Well, which position or which posture in a debate would be entirely simplistic, require minimum words, least amount of time and no intelligence? Extreme position. That is what more and more people seem to be taking on public issues. It's not a coincidence. It is a fallout of the world that we are living in. And people say that we live on an information superhighway. We have never been as well informed as a species as we are today. Absolutely correct. But more informed doesn't mean better informed or enlightened. We are more informed. But are we better informed? You know, information torrents of coming it is like trying to drink directly from a hose pipe. If you have too much water gushing into your mouth, your thirst will never be quenched. Will never be quenched. You need only handfuls of water coming into your mouth so that you can ingest it and absorb it. The same is with information and knowledge. You need it to come at a certain pace so that you can absorb it. When information comes in torrents as it is coming today, it impedes crystallization of thoughts and it prevents formation of independent opinion. In the absence of these two things, excess information can only cement our biases and further concretize our prejudices. That is what is happening all the time. So this excess information, when it comes into you, you selectively choose only that which fits into your pre-existing prejudices. Because you don't have the time to let thoughts crystallize or an independent opinion be formed. I'll end by saying that you and we all can enjoy this madness as long as it lasts. But please remember, whatever somebody tells you, basic human needs of attention, empathy, warmth, trust, credibility, and privacy have not changed. Still, the same things bring us happiness. True friends, meaningful relationships, and modicum of material comfort. We should be careful because this anomaly of modern life created around us will produce more and more disturbed people, more doxing, and more revenge porn. And if we do not watch where we are headed, we will be forced to move as a species with cartloads of goods on our heads and emptiness in our hearts.